Okay.
Wow.
No, it's fine, bro. Send that text. Finish that text message, bro.
I actually texted myself.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just talking to myself.
There's arrogance, and then there's sending yourself text messages.
I'm sending myself selfies now.
Saying myself like, you got this, bro.
You know what
You'll
it is?
smash it on that podcast.
Yeah. Just motivation. It was actually some notes for the podcast.
Nice.
Right? That's how serious I take this.
Yeah, you do take it seriously. Texting yourself seconds before we
Exactly.
go live. Nice, I like it. I've never really got used to the whole like WhatsApp messaging myself, even though I know that's a thing.
Yeah.
I know it's not even a thing where it's like you have to get used to it. Just do it, right? But even then, I still, like sometimes you need to like have something on your phone, like an invoice that you need to forward to somebody else. Even though I could WhatsApp it to myself, I still WhatsApp it to my wife, and then underneath I write ignore. So she gets like loads of messages of me, just ignore. When I could just do it to myself.
Yeah,
I don't.
My problem was I was not sticking to any OneNote app. I was downloading. What happened to Evernote, by the way? Remember Evernote?
Yeah, I remember Evernote, man.
What happened to them guys? Anyway, I downloaded that way back. Didn't work. I used Trello a bit. Didn't work. And I was like, I'm not sticking to any of these note apps. I need someone for my notes. So what I did, I just pinned my own chat over WhatsApp. Because you're in it. You're in there anyway. You need to optimize what you already are. Yeah. Rather than try and create new spaces in your mind.
Yeah. Are we still talking about notes?
I don't know. No, we're not. That's the thing.
We're talking about life.
Yeah.
You have no idea where you are. I just use the notes app in my iPhone because I have a Mac.
Boring.
Yeah, so it's all synced. But you refuse to have a Mac.
Yeah, but to be honest, I'm getting to the point now where my current Microsoft laptop is like on its last legs.
Kaya,
it's in a laptop hospice right now.
Don't say my current Microsoft laptop. Say we know it's your wife's current laptop. Guys, I want to say one thing about Kaya. If you listen to this, this guy has built a multitude of successful businesses. May Allah bless them, protect him, and put barakah in them through using his wife's old laptop. It's a Windows. I'm not gonna look.
There's context.
I don't mind dissing you. I'm not gonna diss your family, so I'm gonna leave it there. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say it's a Windows laptop.
Great laptop.
But guys, if you have excuses, I'm talking to you in the camera right now. If you have excuses, oh no, I don't have the right equipment, I can't do this because of that. Just look at one Kaya Ismail and say, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. Context now.
Okay.
Thanks for that. Thanks for dropping me in it like that.
Yeah.
Context being, I already had a Windows laptop before anyway, by the way. I'm a Windows guy. I'm not a Mac guy.
All right.
Although I'm dabbling.
Which, by the way, that is a red flag.
So let it be. Whoever that's a red flag to, come at me, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Point being, my previous Windows laptop, which is, by the way, I go for Windows Surface laptops, which is the equivalent to the MacBook Air.
Don't say that. Don't say the word Windows and equivalent. And
yeah,
Mac.
I'm going
just
there.
Stay in your Windows world.
It's Microsoft's answer to it.
Okay,
right.
Fine.
Just so people don't think.
I don't know if I'm a fan of that, but okay.
Yeah, people think
of that language.
I don't want people to think I'm rocking like £200 note Chromebook or something like that. It's a respectable Microsoft laptop.
Respectable,
if that can be said.
Yeah.
Right. But my one broke, and my wife had one. She's also got a Mac from like previous.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, that's good. This one was like a laptop that I was meant to use at one point. She was meant to use at one point. It sort of fell in between, so I've grabbed that. And it's still Microsoft Surface. It's not a very new one, but it's on its last legs now. We're thinking about what's next.
Yeah, fine. The
family's convened to discuss about our next steps.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to get involved anymore then.
Fine.
Yeah. I've already I'm standing on eggshells. I'm walking on eggshells. No. Having all that spiel I said about, Macs, I actually did buy my wife a Windows laptop.
Is it? Which one?
I bought it for Eid years ago. Dell. She just needed a laptop a personal laptop.
Yeah.
So I just picked up a Dell something. Shahid?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was selling. This is back when we were both living in the UK.
Right.
He was like a Dell certified reseller or something.
Okay.
And so it was a brand new laptop. It wasn't second hand or anything. It was in packaging and everything, but
had a little sticker and everything.
Yeah.
Little foil sticker was there.
The Dell logo is like a pear shape, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I've used Macs, but I just can't. I've been on Windows my whole life, and the interface, I don't see the benefit in switching right now.
Yeah.
The only thing I am seeing the benefit in is it seems as though as they grow older, when you hit like the 4 or 5 year mark, the Mac can hold its own better when it comes to just like running stuff.
Also, do you have to have like an antivirus software?
Don't. I had one for years.
Oh, fine.
I get these random pop-ups every now and again.
Yeah.
But other than that.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Bro, look, you got to do you. Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
The same thing that works for one person won't work for another person.
I feel like you're talking down to me right now. You're like, hey, look, what you're doing is fine.
Yeah.
Not everyone could be on our level. But look, I'm actively choosing not to be a Mac guy.
And
you know,
I hear that.
Yeah. You should.
I hear it.
I'm saying it very loudly.
You are, yeah. Fine, okay. Yeah, man. Like I said, you do you. That's fine. I suppose like say people are like that with cameras and stuff. Isn't that Sony versus Canon?
Yeah. What's your like
Sony?
Is it?
Yeah.
Everyone says that actually.
Really? No, I think like serious camera guys prefer. Now actually, Sony's like even the people who were like never gonna leave Canon, like people who had like I think it was like the 1D or something. Even those guys have got like the Sony FX3 and things like that. Sony have got this great cinema line now. But generally speaking, I think the higher up you go in skill set, people are married to their individual like brands. With cameras, my thing is that I'm not a camera expert at all. So what Sony does is it out of the box gives you a good visual.
Yeah.
And that's all I need. I just need to turn it on, have it on auto settings, and just press record.
Yeah. I'm gonna start recording more content soon, and so far.
You need Sony, bro.
Do I? But again, I'm
with your skill level, Sony.
Yeah, I've got no skill level when it comes to this. I'm using my phone so far,
okay.
And megapixel for megapixel. Should I upgrade? I've got the iPhone 14, 15, something like that. I don't even know anymore. But it's a good camera. Do I need to get a camera?
Yes. Yes.
Do I? But what's it?
Because it
does it 4K.
You're a co-host of freshly grounded Kaya Ismail.
I got no clue what these things even do.
Yeah, bro. Do you know what? A good camera is always worth an investment. Honestly,
yeah.
A good SLR. And nowadays, bro, like you're not spending stupid amounts of money. Like, I would still invest in. I would still invest like $1,000 in a camera. But as far as cameras go, it's not crazy investment, bro. And that will last you, bro. You know, these cameras we've had since the beginning of Freshly Grounded, that's 8 years. No, not since the beginning, sorry. We used to use like a Sony. We used to even use a GoPro at the beginning. But since we invested in cameras, we've been using the same cameras. Maybe you could say 5, 6, 7 years or whatever. So the camera that I would recommend to you would be the Sony FX30.
Okay.
It's way overkill for what you need, but it does everything that you'd want it to do, and you will look like you're in a movie every time you film anything.
Okay.
The Sony FX3 is a cinema line camera. Is what Cairo uses to shoot like campaigns for some of the biggest brands in the world. FX30 is like their cheaper version of that. So as long as you're not planning to shoot a movie, you're still getting like cinema level quality with FX30. It's like straight out of the box. Anyway, like these are boring conversations. Yeah. We should move on.
We should, shouldn't we?
Yeah, but so, bro, there was actually something that I thought about earlier today that I was like, I'm going to speak to Kai about this on the pod. So, about a year ago or so, I remember like your daughter, Alon Berdik, your oldest daughter. I remember like always like seeing her interactions with you, which were different from, and I think I mentioned this to you a few times. They were different from my Zachariah's interactions with me, right? And like she would. Along like be really inquisitive and ask like questions that are like they do really make you think about the answer.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting because like I said to you like, oh, Zachary didn't do that yet. And you're like, yeah, like they do it at different times and stuff like that. Anyway, so he started now.
Okay.
And it's like when it rained, it poured.
Yeah.
Like it's like something in his brain's unlocked that line of questioning, and just every day, bro. And bro, it's such a new fun part of parenting. So. The other day, went to Ace because I needed to buy some screws for that very chair that you're sat on.
Nice.
These chairs, you know, because they like the
I'm now
legs,
anxious about the chair.
Yeah. No, you know the legs and the chairs, the bolts like were coming loose. It's just they're like rocky.
Yeah.
And so I just took one of the bolts, went to Ace, took Zachary with me in the car, drove there. I'm just gonna like match it and then just buy the bolts. Found the bolts. Long story short. Chairs are secure.
You love a good Ace, don't you?
I love a good Ace shop. I sometimes go to Ace, I'm like, what could I do here? And then I never do anything. Anyway, but in the car, bro, it was nice to actually like say to him, like he was like, we were talking about what we were doing. And I was like, look, you see this bolt here? He was like, yeah. I was like, we basically have to find the matching one and we can screw it into the chair. It's actually explaining things a little bit more detail than you would to like my 3-year-old. It could be like, where are we going? We're going to the hardware store. It's like very, surface level. He wants to know like why things happen, how things work. When this does this, how does this do? He was asking like, can Allah fly? Like he's like asks like really. I know you were saying your daughter asks things like that. What was really interesting? Go on.
My before you even said that, my thing was going to be the most interesting ones or the ones where I have to pause is the Aqidah questions.
Yes.
The Aqidah question come up, and it's like questions I never thought of before. Yeah. It's like and it requires like you need to sit down and watch like a Kitab al-Tawheed like lecture on that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like, how do I respond to that to a 5-year-old? So that's I almost get a bit scared with them because it's like, wow, I'm in the process of like shaping what her Aqidah is.
Yes.
And so I get a bit scared with that. But yeah, I feel like we've gone through most of them now with her.
Yeah, bro. But I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. I'm like 2-3 weeks, maybe like a month or so into this new Zachariah. Yeah. And he just wants to know how everything works. It is a little bit annoying sometimes. So today, like, he was like, okay, so yesterday he goes to me, where does, okay, so excuse my non beautified language here. He was like, where does my wee go when I like flush it down the toilet? Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll take this on.
I'll study plumbing.
Yeah. So I said, well, it goes into a pipe, and then eventually it goes into the river. And then after that, it goes into the sky, and then it rains. Right? I thought that's quite a good answer.
Yeah.
I like generally speaking. He's like, oh my gosh, the sky is big. So, so anyway, he was like, okay, cool. Like, he got it. He didn't ask any follow-up. He was like, oh, okay, now I know. He likes to say, now I know. So today he goes to me, you've guessed it. Where does my poo-poo go? Yeah. So I was like, I said to him, well, I was quite humbled by it. So I said to him, okay, well, like, this can make me sound so dumb, bro. I was like, okay, so like it also goes in the pipe through the pipes, and then it like becomes like eventually it will become like the mud.
Yeah, okay.
Because my head I was thinking like, nature will like decompose it or whatever it's compose it, and then it becomes like
compost in it,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, huh. Like, and then I said to myself, I don't even know if that's true. So then I asked ChatGPT, and I was so wrong. I was like, what happens? Like,
can I guess? I think I know this. I think it goes to a plant, isn't it? It's like a sewage plant, and they like process it.
Maybe, bro. Like, but ChatGPT was saying that it also goes through the pipe, but then it goes through a cleansing system. So that's that bit. Yeah. But then after that, it's now clean water, and then it goes into the river as well, just like the normal, like urine.
I think some government, I don't know about here, but I think that becomes grey water, where it's like you can't drink it, but it's fine. So you can water plants with it.
Okay.
So I don't know if like some governments use that to water the parks. And
stuff. I did read on ChatGPT that like sometimes it becomes like fertilizer and stuff.
Yeah. Like that, so I don't know.
So, bro, like I'm being corrected. He's asking me questions that I'm like, I don't know the answer to all these questions.
Or you kind of do, but you're not sure how to explain that to
a 5-year-old.
A 5-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, man. I've had a few.
Isn't it also interesting that there's that subreddit that's called Explain to Me Like I'm 5, which is one of the biggest subreddits in the world. Isn't it incredible how last year when I was noticing you going through this, your daughter was 5.
Yeah.
Now when I'm going through this, my son is 5.
Yeah.
And so isn't it incredible how like accurate they Explain to Me Like I'm 5 thing is, because it's literally 5-year-olds specifically that start asking these kind of questions.
Crazy, man. Alhamdulillah. But it's very nice.
Whoever created that subreddit, Kaya,
amazing.
He's a genius.
They must have had a 5-year-old at one point.
Yeah.
No way they did it. But yeah, it allows you to have like weird and wonderful conversation that you would never have ever had with them, which I find nice. Like she's asked questions about the planets. So when she'll learn something at school, they'll teach her like the surface level of what like the planets are and stuff like that. But she's like, where are the planets? Are the planets on Earth? That kind of stuff. You got to explain to her. No, there's a whole like there's a whole solar system and like So it's interesting how they first absorb information. It's very like surface level, and then you got to like fill in the gaps for them, and then they understand. Oh, I get it, because she knows where. Okay, I know Venus is a planet. I know this is a planet, but where are we? She's like, no, we're also on a different planet, and it's like there's lots of planets all around each other.
And they also go back to first principles, don't they? Which is kind of nice, because we're now in adulthood we're taught in the world of business and stuff that's important to do, to go back to first principles. Like just asking those why questions are so important. Yeah.
Where do you ask your why question now? Is it ChatGPT only? Or do you Google much anymore?
No, mainly ChatGPT. I also am I use Claude daily, but I don't like. There's a subset of individuals who are like very passionate about. Oh no, I don't even use ChatGPT anymore. I just use Claude. But I think that still ChatGPT is like the fastest moving, growing. Yeah. Also, it has like the most amount of my data. Yeah. So it's like you're imprisoned in that one. Yeah, but Claude is good for me. It's way better at writing.
It is, however, I had both at the same time for a while. So I wanted to compare them.
That's what I'm doing.
And use them in tandem. Okay. So I was getting like ChatGPT to outline it very, because ChatGPT's outlines are very bare bones. You do outline of like a piece of content, and then Claude will go a little bit further. It's still not a full blog post, but it goes a bit further. It can do the full blog post, but I don't want it to. So I was doing it like that. But I was giving it tasks, and most of the time I'm giving these things tasks rather than like writing content. And I become more frustrated with Claude than I did with ChatGPT, just because it kept getting mixed up, kept getting confused. Yeah. And so I eventually just cancelled Claude, and I'm back to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And this brings me to my next point, and I don't know if you're gonna like this. What do you think?
I hate it already.
Yeah, what do you think about the statement that AI is actually not as good as we've been told?
No, I think that's complete rubbish. Like, it's the most groundbreaking thing we've ever experienced in terms of technology in our life.
Yeah, but that's both could be true at the same time. I just don't think it's as good as we've been told. And I'll give you an example. Today I was using ChatGPT. I gave it 5 documents. They were like 2 pages each, PDFs. I just asked it to extract some data into a table for me. It did it okay the first time, but I gave it 2 more documents on top of that to then put into the table, and it just completely got lost. It mixed things up, and I couldn't go back. I was like, no, you just go back to the 5, and we'll start again. And it couldn't find its way back. So I literally had to abandon that. And that kind of thing happens quite often.
That's interesting. I've never had that issue.
Really?
And I use ChatGPT for those kind of things all the time. And I've found that it's incredible at those things.
It can be.
It could be the model. It could. I don't know.
I'm using the latest model, everything. I'm on the paid plan, the 20-month.
Are you using 01 or 4?
4. Yeah,
because I've noticed some issues with 01.
Okay. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. It of course is incredible. I use it every day. It is incredible. But I think there's a subset of like, marketers will say, AI marketers or AI bros who are like, man, this thing does everything, first time, great. And another sort of hiccup I'm seeing on Twitter.
By the way, just on that point, I think there's a prompt that you could add to fix that.
Okay.
So say to ChatGPT,
don't be bad.
Yeah.
Start being good.
Yeah. Say to ChatGPT, before you begin the task, ask me any questions that you might have for the task in multiple choice form. Mm-hmm. So I just have to say, like, it will ask you a question and it will say option 1, option 2, option 3, and you just say 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And only begin the task once you feel like you have full clarity on it. That prompt has helped me so much.
That is a good prompt.
Because what ChatGPT does is by default, it's trying to get you the solution as fast as possible. So it does a lot of assumptions. Because its goal is, how can I help this guy like just immediately?
That's right.
So when you go, before you start, anything that you might have, ask me. Or you can either say ask me until you feel like you're fully aware. But I've done that prompt, but then it kind of would ask a lot of questions. And so you can actually limit it and say, look, ask me top 5 questions or 10 questions that you might have.
Yeah.
The other prompt that I do when it comes to spreadsheets on ChatGPT is, so the other day I put out last week a form on my Instagram where I said, anyone who's interested in consultancy, fill in the form. And I got a bunch of responses, but I hadn't got around to like creating the zap where it goes from form to spreadsheet, which is like the ideal scenario. But I like just wanted to do an MVP. And so, you know, what's the quickest way of me just getting this out? So I put the form out. I ended up getting a lot of responses, but now I've got the issue where I've got a lot of responses in my email. And that's not effective for me because I need to copy and paste quickly, shift through the people. Yeah. I need to get it on a spreadsheet. And so I basically said, ChatGPT, I'm going to send you screenshots of these email of like these form inputs, and I want you to put them into a Google Sheet for me. But I want you to do it one at a time until I say, and then I made up a word. Like, and when I say this word, that means I'm done. I could have just said I'm done, but I actually made a word. Yeah, it was genuinely like that. So then I was like, so then it was like, so I'd send a screenshot, enter, and they'd be like, cool, added that. Next one, add that, and then I'm like, cool, I'm done. But like, cool. So then it gave me the spreadsheet at the end, as opposed to like doing it.
I guess this is kind of my point. You have to do a lot of babysitting, right?
A little bit of babysitting.
Because you're right. If you do take a step by step like that and give it checkpoints, I feel like checkpoints really help. It is fantastic, and it does still save you time.
Yeah.
But again, the marketing for AI out there is still very much like, just give it the thing, it will do it all, and it'll be amazing.
I still think it does though.
It does in a way, but there's a. And then I'm still a big fan.
You have to curate it.
Yeah. Okay.
Not just like a chat system, but you can use ChatGPT's models and things like that to do that.
You can. And again, I'm not like saying it's bad. I agree with your statement. That's probably the most groundbreaking thing we've ever done tech-wise ever. Right? I agree with that. But there is this sort of side that not a lot of people talk about is like it actually fails like a lot. It'll fail like 3 out of 10 times of what you want to do. That's quite a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I'm on Twitter a lot these days, and you heard of vibe coding?
No.
It's basically using. I won't say the names of the tech because actually I like the tech. I don't want to disparage it, but there's tech out there where you can just use it to code an app. You can build an app very quickly. I've told you about it in the past, right? Yep. Build a mobile app, build a web app, and it just does it for you. And it's amazing, again, groundbreaking, and it's still early, so let's give it credit. But a lot of people made some money vibe coding. They built like an online game, they built this and that, and they started selling it. So now vibe coding, which means you don't have to code, we're using these things just to code something and sell it or just launch it, whatever. A lot of those guys are now reporting back and being like, I just vibe coded for like something like this, 2 hours, loads of code, thumbs up, 0 usable code. Really? In other words, it does a lot of stuff, but none of it can actually be used. Like I'm not a coder, but it wasn't working. We couldn't ship it. And unless you knew how to debug that, it's just useless, right? So
that's fair.
I feel like we're still early, and I don't feel like anyone speaks about that. And in my world, the marketing world, I feel like in the same sense, you can use ChatGPT or Claude to build a blog post, a white paper, this and that.
Yep.
Unlike code, you can't with code you can immediately see it's not working. It just doesn't work. You can't ship it. Doesn't work. With marketing, it fools you a bit because it's like, well, it looks great, right? It's nicely formatted. It's got the emojis. It looks nice. I can just ship that. But now, if you look on LinkedIn, I don't know if you're on LinkedIn much, or even Twitter now, there's so much AI content around.
That's so obvious.
It's so obvious. It's so cringe, and it's just so bad. Like for the brand, it's so bad.
I actually agree with you completely on that. I think our use cases of things like ChatGPT are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
I agree with you completely. No, not even our use cases are different. I think that the same pain points that you've had, actually I've had those pain points as well. Yeah. You're right. When it comes to copy of any sort of blog post, that it is very far behind. You're right.
Yeah, and there's certain things I just, I think it probably will never be good at. And I'll give you an example, right? I had a LinkedIn post, it did okay, and then I started attracting a whole lot of bots, AI comments. And the AI bot across all these different accounts, I've got like 6 of them on one post, picked out something from my LinkedIn post, which you think would be good, is picking something out to comment on it. But what it picked out was something that I literally coined, right? Doesn't really exist outside. I sort of made up a name for something. Okay. It picked out that and it started talking about it as if it was like a well-known term. So it just and don't forget, these comments are linked to someone's real account. They're using AI to grow them. Now you just look silly.
You look silly.
Yeah, and bro, that's your brand. That's your LinkedIn brand, man. Yeah. So now it's dangerous. Like you can really turn things the other direction rather than like growing your brand or hurt your brand.
I agree. I have some bots running on Instagram where those like many chat bots where someone's like comment the word Ramadan and you get discounted Ramadan.
That's a great use case.
No, but the problem with it though is that then I forgot to turn them off, and so someone will be DMing me like, "Oh, hey bro, like, like first of all, Ramadan Mubarak," and it's like, "Oh, Ramadan!" it goes. Here's 30% off the Ramadan game, and then one guy like just after he sent me a long message, he got that, and then he just messaged me like 2 question marks, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, you just triggered the bot. I need to remember to turn those off."
So funny.
Yeah, but bro, by the way, I think you're 100% right.
Yeah. We had the same thing with Wasia, where we had an AI bot. So people would inquire about a property, the AI bot would talk to them. But we got a cold DM from a fitness guy, like a fitness trainer, and his cold DM was also an AI bot, right? So his AI bot started talking to our AI bot.
Really? That's so funny.
Our AI thought he was talking about property at first. His AI bot was talking about fitness. Long story short, after about 8 messages between each other, our AI bot ended up giving him fitness advice.
Really?
It was like, oh, if you want to do like that, then just do like 8 press ups in the morning. And then it's like, oh, well, what are we doing here, man? Enough, yeah. That was funny though.
Yeah. And also, bro, I think that when it comes to those things that you mentioned, 100%, I'm on board with you. I think where AI is as good as people say that it is the speed at which it can do functional tasks that just actually remove the job of an entire human and or speeds up the role and does it much more effectively as a human. Example, I've got one of those AI note taker bots now in my meetings. Best decision I've ever made. But I've connected it with Zapier to do 2 things. So first of all, what that bot does, I'm using Fathom, in and of itself is incredible with AI, that a human is definitely removed a job role, or it saved me maybe note-taking time in the meeting, and then like analysis, next steps, writing, all that kind of stuff after. It saved me like in a week hours and hours and hours. Yeah. What it does is I know like typical one of these note-taking apps. It joins your Google Meet meeting with you. At the end of the meeting, it sends you an analysis of what was discussed in the meeting. But really well done, bro. Incredibly accurate, based on the transcript, of course. Next steps, and all these different things. What I've done now is I've connected that via Zapier to my Notion. So I have a Notion board called Meetings. Any meeting that I have, I attend the meeting. Once I'm done with the meeting, instantly on Notion, a new meeting gets made for me. Like, oh, you had a meeting on this day with this person, and in that thing, I just get the entire, not the transcript, the overview, the summary of the meeting, the key points, the next steps, and a link to the transcript if I want to watch it, as well as a link to watch the video of the meeting again.
That's very incredible. Good. That's very good.
Yeah,
that's a great example of how to use AI.
Right. So
you should teach this stuff.
Yeah. So I think for those functional connecting things up and stuff like that, I just like incredible.
I agree.
But I think people are using, like, if you're still using AI in a way where you're like, you know, hey, what's the recipe for, you know, chicken nuggets? Like, oh, like, there's so much more you can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Although I think that's going to be like a massive use case. Like it will to an extent replace Google searches like that.
Yeah, and it has done, right?
Yeah.
I think like for the most part, people use Perplexity instead of Google.
Yeah.
Perplexity is very good.
It's given like birth to new like SEO things. Like if you're doing SEO, how do you make sure that Perplexity or ChatGPT finds your business when someone asks about that?
Yeah.
That's all up in the air right now.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when things change.
We've done a good job at that. I was like, I wanted to master that. I was like, how can we do that? And we managed to get that done.
What's your top two tips for that? And give me a multiple choice question in response.
Top tip is to use, of course, my mind's gone blank. What are those things called? In your code, you put in your
schema.
Code. Yeah, to use schema has been massive help. That's like my number one tip.
Okay.
And using the right schema as well, because you want to like understand what each schema does. You don't want to add like FAQ schema where it's not necessary or usable. Breadcrumbs as well. So some typical SEO things, but schema has been probably like the biggest change that we made, and we started seeing results on Perplexity at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch this, man. Let's talk about Ramadan.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
About going to the last 10. You know, I was just walking to Masjid close by, and I really got that. You know, the first 2 nights of Ramadan, you really get that feeling. That the first 3 nights, you really get that like Ramadan feeling. Yeah, you're going Tarawih and stuff, and everyone.
Imagine if the audio wasn't recording that whole time.
That would have been catastrophic, mate.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I just got that again, just like kind of random, because I knew subconsciously 10 days coming up. I just got it feeling, and like everyone was like coming to the Masjid. And I feel like there's a Ramadan dip in the middle where people like they trade off with Tarawih and it comes back again last 10. And I feel like tonight was like maybe coming up again. And yeah, man, I love Ramadan nights, man. It's just beautiful, isn't it? It really is a blessing, bro. And sometimes I've had people who are living in Dubai and stuff say like, oh, how is like the Muslim community in X community? I'm like, yeah, it's good. And then I remember like Tarawih nights and like Eid mornings. And it's like, it's not just good, it's amazing.
Oh, incredible.
Because the massages here are huge. And on you done Eid here?
Many Eids here. Yeah.
Okay. So you know that morning, there's one Jama'ah, so it's like everyone's there.
Everyone does Jama'ah at the same time.
Yeah.
It's straight after Fajr or something.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes after Fajr.
And the masjid is packed. And it's families. Yeah. And kids are going around the rows giving out chocolates and sweets.
Beautiful, man.
And it's hot summer's day.
Yeah. Sunny, the sun's up.
The sun's out, and it's just beautiful. Yeah,
is,
yeah, bro. Last 10 nights, the first of them start tomorrow.
Yeah.
As people are listening to this episode, if we release this episode tomorrow, then they're tonight.
Yeah, inshallah.
Wow. And the community in this local masjid has been incredible, bro.
You know what? Allahumma barak, it is a lovely masjid, man. It is a good community. It always seems to be like. There's never a quiet moment in this masjid. Sometimes I have a massage, you go to it. It's like if it's like an hour after Asr, you might find no one in there because it's just the wrong time. But here it feels like someone's always in and out. At least 2 or 3 people always in and out.
Yeah, bro, it's really nice, man. You get such a community feel, and you start when you go regularly, you start to like build like those connections, those relationships, and like there's this one brother who's from the States, and he's moved here, and it turned out that he was like one of the early advisors at Tartil.
No way.
Yeah, and we've been going to the mosque for like both of us have been going here for like multiple years and never known. And then one of the guys at Tartil was like, oh, like we just had one of our like previous advisors message us and say that somebody told him that one of the Tartil members like goes to his masjid or whatever. Yeah, such a nice guy, Egyptian brother from the States. Like just you meet new people all the time. There's always people moving in and out of the community. It's just incredible. That overlaps with like another thing I want to discuss, and you've said it a few times. Just being in Dubai, you meet so many quote unquote random people. Yeah, and recently I met someone. This is the most random thing, right? You know, the water park at JBR, that in the sea. You met the water park? Yeah, the water park was actually there. No, I met the owner of it, like the part owner of that water park, randomly. He was like, "Oh yeah, I own a water park," and I was like, "Water park? What water park?" What's the name of that company? He told us. Is it called like Big Toys or something like that? No. Because there's one of those companies that's called that or something like that. And they got like a monopoly in Dubai, but they're not the water stuff. They're like, you know, if you go to like a last exit and you see like, the cars that kids can drive. Okay. Yeah. That's a great business. That guy is like a family member of like my wife's cousin's wife or something like that. Really? Like some kind of distant thing. And she was telling me, oh, like, you know, thingy's relative owns this, and apparently they're just killing it. I can imagine, bro. That's a great business. That's what we need to be doing. On the face of it, it doesn't seem like great business, but it is. Imagine like every more boring businesses, isn't it? Yeah, I love boring businesses. They don't excite me. They do, you know. I think for me they do. But it makes sense. Why doesn't it excite you? Again, I do love your mentality because I think like when you're I don't know why though. I always go back to the idea of a vending machine. It's just an epitome of. It epitomizes the boring thing. I actually would love just to skip ahead and have like 10 vending machines somewhere, and just like every Tuesday I just go and refill my vending machines. Just live a simple life. Oh mate, I'd love that. And I'm not saying that would be my full thing, but it's like my Tuesday mornings, that's my vending machine time. I drive around. It takes me 3 hours. Put on a good podcast. Oh mate, I got the Twixes in the back. Yeah, exactly. You just switch out the Twixes. Yeah, and just like let me collect my coins. But then like each machine gives you like whatever, £200. Yeah. Just like, mate, what a great business. Yeah. I that gets me excited, man. It's true. Twix, bro. Yeah, it's true. Have you had many Ramadan, like after iftar or tarawih, have you like popped to shops and grabbed yourself a chocolate bar? If so, what's been the one that's been doing it for you? Who do you think you're talking to, mate? Yeah, I know. Have you got a rhetorical question, really? What a ridiculous question. And no, I haven't gone anywhere. I've got it delivered to me. Yeah, congratulations. No, a couple of times I've gone somewhere. We've been hard on the Dubai chocolate recently, so we've been going hard on them. I've also tried Magnolia Bakery again recently. Ooh, very amazing. Good. I found something custody that night. Which by the way, that's something that happens regularly to you. I'm a custard boy. Yeah, you regularly fancy a bit of custard. Yeah, I do. OG Fresh Uganda listeners will know, hardcore Fresh Uganda listeners will know that you have a business idea that you want to start, which is a custard bar. Yes. You want to start a custard bar, which is an incredible idea. That's a great idea. It's probably one of your best ideas you've ever had. It's a Subway for custard. Yeah. You just walk in. You can get the vanilla custard, you can get a chocolate custard. Yeah. Then the custard bar is a good idea. And you could do like sponge cakes with it, your school cakes with it and stuff like that. Have you tried what's it called? Crumble something at Global Village. It's got like they've got apple crumble at the bottom and then like hot custard on top. I haven't been to Global Village this year, but I do want to go and I want to get one of those thick Moroccan thobes. Even though I know it's still like it's gonna get hotter, I just think they come in so useful. I agree. I need to get a whole bunch of mine tailored. I've got some, but they're just a bit too long. Yeah, fair. I today did the mistake of going to Spinneys while fasting. Okay. So I was hungry, and so first thing I did is I actually went in there just to buy macadamia nuts for the cookies. Okay. But I saw the Fresh Bakery and I just said, actually, there might be something that I need from there. I went over there. And bro, I ended up coming home with a pecan plat, cookie croissant. Nice. And a raisin, pano raisin. Pano raisin. How do you say that? Yeah.
Ramadan.
Yeah, exactly that.
Everyone knows that.
We've now lost all of our French listeners.
Immediately.
Click X. Anyway, I picked up a pain au raisin.
Yeah.
And I've come in with it. I don't know why. I haven't even touched them since iftar. Like, it's ridiculous. You just look at it and you just think, oh, that'd be nice when I open my iftar. Oh, that'd be nice with my suhoor. And then you
after you've eaten, it's just that you're done. Yeah. But then there's that second wave, isn't it? 11 p.m.
Yeah, the 11 p.m. wave. I think I'm going to crack that bakery bag open.
Yeah, the one mistake you made though is going for the pain au raisin instead of the pain au chocolat. That's a classic
I didn't
mistake.
know you were fluent in French,
Come on, listen, when it comes to my pains,
yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Why? Nice.
Yeah. Also, there's a place called Crepe Castle.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, next time you fancy a crepe, you get yourself a Crepe Castle.
I didn't know about that place.
Neither did I until it hit me in the face.
Does it deliver to my house?
Should we check?
Yeah.
A little
Crepe Castle.
Crepe Castle, man. Insane. They've got the Dubai chocolate crepe, and they've done it very well. And it's the freshest crepe I've ever had. And it's a takeaway, which is saying something.
Talking about Dubai chocolate and stuff, you know what I bought is a big tub of pistachio.
I've been meaning to get one of those.
It's really good.
Is it? What are you putting? Tell me.
Where to put it? Wherever you want, mate. Yeah. Toast. Inside dates.
Okay. I noticed you had some dates and cheese out.
Yeah, well, no. Exactly. Yeah. Bro, it's really good, bro.
Yeah.
But there's two different brands that do it on Noon, and both actually really good. Okay, here we go. There's Tonino crepes. Oh, here you go.
Crepe Castle, yeah.
Crepe Castle Cafe. Triple C.
You need that.
You hit me with the triple C. Yep. Is it really good?
It's really good.
They just look like standard crepes.
Well, they're not. That's what I'm telling you, mate. They're not.
They do pancakes as well.
They do. I haven't tried them. I've tried the waffles. I've tried the crepes.
They do waffles as well?
I believe so.
Oh yeah, they do.
They do.
Wow.
They got like a pistachio something, right?
Do you know what I sometimes fancy, but I never get? I don't even want to get it. But sometimes I'm like, I fancy that. As soon as I open my fast, it's the worst thing I could do is a milkshake.
I've had a couple. I've come close a couple times this month to getting one, and you know what the best one is?
What?
Caventas.
Caventas? I don't know what that is.
Amazing. You don't know Caventas?
Huh?
Bro, search that right now. Caventas, their saffron and almond milkshake.
You know your stuff.
I know my stuff when it comes to milkshakes and pans and things.
Wow.
You got it, Caventas.
No, I'm still looking at the Crepe Castle.
Yeah,
Crepe Castle is good, bro.
He is good.
Rate that. Okay.
Check it out.
How do you spell the second thing?
KEV. It should come up.
KEV.
ENTERS.
Yeah, Caventas, yeah.
They're very good.
Oh, they don't deliver here.
They don't.
No.
Oh.
B Labandu.
They're good. They're good.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last 10 days, bro. Last 10 nights. What's your strategy? Break it down.
Yeah. I just want to try and get more qiyam in. So one thing that's good about it happens everywhere, isn't it? But they've got the qiyam like 1 a.m. They ask every year. They ask, do you want it to be at 12 a.m., 1 a.m., or 2 a.m.? Most communities ask. I don't know if yours does.
Don't know.
So that's strategy number one. And I want to try and my sleep is the last week or so. My sleep has been slipping, so I'm having to have a nap in a day, which is kind of dragging my rest of the day down.
It ruins your day, bro.
It does. So I'm trying to get rid of that.
I do naps on the weekends.
Yeah, weekends I don't need it so much because I can get the extra hour in the morning.
Oh,
right, because it's a school thing.
Are your kids off school next week?
Yes. Yours?
Same, yeah.
Yeah, which to be honest, I think is probably best because it's just like
it's for the best.
It is, isn't it?
Hey, education is not that important.
Yeah, just turn that whole thing down.
I'm a turn it down now. Come on, I'm a fasting man.
You know what I mean? That extra hour in the morning is like
it's needed, ridiculous, man. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm really looking forward to that. My wife's really not looking forward to that. I'm the one who does a school run, so she's not looking forward to it because it's like kids are gonna be active from like the minute they wake up. And I'm looking forward to it because I'm like, I don't have to do the school run.
Yeah. I don't mind doing a school run. Again, if I'm well rested, that's the problem, right? If I wake up and I've had a good rest, it's fine. But yeah, last week or so has been tough, man.
So you said your strategy was like you wanted to do more qiyam. What's interesting is this brother sent me a video and of a sheikh who said that in the last 10 nights people focus on like increasing their good deeds because it's like the equivalent of 1,000 months, In this video of this sheikh, he was basically saying that is limited to specific good deeds.
Okay.
And so it's qiyam, standing in prayer, dua, and recitation of the Quran. So if people are like trying to do so many good deeds that day, that evening, like rekindle the ties of kinship and all these kind of different things, is that not going to waste, but like, is it that you better that you put your efforts into those 3 acts? And so that's what it seems like. Again, like I'm just relaying the story here, but so my strategy is going to be for the last 10 nights is focus on those 3 items.
It's the month of the Quran, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, the more you can
stand
recite,
in prayer,
yeah,
make dua as much as possible, recite as much Quran as possible.
Yeah. Inshallah, man. I think it should be everyone's plan. You can't, you can, obviously we should like sprinkle in more good deeds as much as possible, but I think if you're having to choose, if like time is limited or energy is limited,
you're never going to regret picking up the Mus'haf.
100%, or just reciting what you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one thing as well, like, I've kind of had to, you kind of have to pause, like, I'll sometimes find recitations I like and try to memorize from that recitation, right? It's like I've got to switch from that to just like actually reciting what I know, and now's not necessarily the time to learn new sort of stuff. It's now the time just to recite as much as you can, because you can recite more of what you know.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Correctly.
On that point, bro, yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I was saying like, if there's a song that's like really popular, right, that people love and they're obsessed with, and they can listen to it over and over and over again, no matter how many times, no matter how great that song is to them, obviously like music is impermissible, but I'm just like trying to build the thing here. No matter how great in their mind that song is, they eventually get sick of it. Like definitely, like even if they think I could never get sick of this song, if they listen to it on repeat if they listen to it 16 times a day for a month, they'll be like, get rid of that.
You know what? It happens faster than that.
But I'm just point. Bro, the other day I was in Salah reciting Surah Fatiha or listening to Surah Fatiha, I can't remember, and a thought just came into my head, which was, isn't it incredible that we've been reciting or listening to Surah Fatiha, if we're like praying behind an imam or reciting or praying Salah ourselves, what is it, at the bare minimum of like 16 times a day?
17, I think 17.
And you never get that feeling of Surah Fatiha that you every day for years and years, but you never get that feeling of it feeling like tiring listening to Surah Fatiha or reciting Surah Fatiha. It's not like you don't get that feeling at all.
Yeah, that is in of itself amazing. Yeah. And then on top of that, it's like, think of how many different ways Surah Fatiha can be recited as well.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all of them are amazing. You know what I mean? Whereas with a song, it can only be sung in that way.
Yeah.
The way it was released, you can, if you start to change it, it doesn't hit the same or whatever. Surah Fatiha, there's so many different ways you can recite from the different qiraat, and they're all amazing. Yeah. It just on top of the fact that even if you just have one recitation, it's been amazing, because most of us remember one. We memorize one way, one riwayah of it, and that's enough. But then you go above that, you think there's so many different ways to recite it, and it's all amazing and beautiful. SubhanAllah, the levels, bro, the complexity. SubhanAllah.
The companionship of the Quran is like the best companionship you can have, and it unlocks so much benefit in your life, from being a cure to being a source of rizq, like you unlock more rizq, protection. There's so many things. It's like, when in doubt, Quran. And I've told this story before with Freshly Grounded like years ago, but I remember one time like I was in like a really tough spot with Freshly Grounded, and this is like right in the early days of FG, and I was trying to I think I'd like clear something like financially or something like that, and I was trying to lock in a sponsor. I needed a sponsor, bro. And then it got to a point where I was like, even if I was to get sponsored now, it's too late, because you have to go through the process where you send in the contract and an agreement and you invoice, and then they might make payment in their next payment one, which could be in 2 weeks or a week or whatever, all these like barriers, right? So I was like, I think like that day I spent the whole day trying to figure out how I can just like get some money in or something for FG. And at the end of the day, I remember I was living at my mum's house those days, early days. I was sitting on my bed, I was like sending emails or something, and I had exhausted all opportunities and all options, and I had the Mus'haf next to me, I just put my phone down and I said, you know what? And it shouldn't even be a last resort. It should be the first resort. So that in itself is like a shameful. But I just thought to myself, you know what? When in doubt, just pick up the Mus'haf. Just like connect with the Quran. Like it just unlocks things. I just started reading Quran. Bro, next thing I know, I get a text message from a guy. He's like who I wasn't even, not even anyone who I spoke to that day about a sponsor or anything. Wants to sponsor an episode. I was like, yeah, it's going to cost this much. These are the account details. Instantly he transferred the money. Money was in my account.
Allahu Akbar, man. Yeah. Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
SubhanAllah. Yeah.
But like, I think sometimes you have to think about things like that. Like you have to like see Allah in like, okay, the other day I went to get my medical because my visa is due for renewal in Dubai, and alhamdulillah, the process was so easy, and I left there and I was just like reflecting on Allah's mercy. It's a small thing, just like, I had an easy process there. But I remember like going to myself, you know what, I need to actively thank Allah, be grateful to Allah for this moment, because the truth is that most of us, when something good happens or we get some kind of ease, we forget about Allah, and then when we're struggling we remember Allah and we call upon Him. So I was like, while I've just had this great win in my day where I was stressed about it, it's long, these kind of processes are long in it, and it just made it so easy. I made dua for it to be made easy, and it was made easy. I was like, remember, you made dua for this, it happened, now be grateful, now seek istighfar, right? Like Allah says in Surah Nasr, when you achieve victory, turn to Allah in istighfar, right? Like, so that's what I was like, I remember to do that. And so I need, even that, it's like one thing I want to remember to do more often, like something good happened, instantly remember Allah, and then seek istighfar. And like, don't just remember Allah in the moments where you're struggling. Yeah. Because He's all you have now to rely on.
Yeah. Who else could we rely on except Allah, man?
And bro, there's an ayah in the Quran as well, bro, on that. I don't know the exact ayah, but I think it's like, Inna Allaha yuhibbul mutawakkilin. I don't know if it's exactly like that in the Quran, so I should check. But in English, it's basically, indeed Allah loves those who rely on Him.
Yeah.
Sometimes like someone asks you, what's your favorite ayah? Right now, that's my favorite ayah. Let me actually check that, because I don't want to say Quran.
Yeah, check it.
And I could just open up my Tartil app.
Oh, nice.
And I could just click on the search feature.
Let's zoom in on that.
Yeah.
Jamie?
Yeah, all the producers.
Jamie?
Yeah. Where are the producers gone? Yep, so I found it. So it's Surah Al-Imran, Ayah 158. Where is it? Inna Allaha yuhibbul mutawakkilin. Yeah. So let's read that whole ayah in English. So the whole ayah says, okay, that's the end of the ayah. The whole ayah says, it is out of Allah's mercy that you, O Prophet, have been lenient with them. Had you been cruel or hard-hearted, they would have certainly abandoned you. So pardon them, ask Allah's forgiveness for them, and consult with them in conducting matters. Once you make a decision, put your trust in Allah. Surely Allah loves those who trust in Him.
SubhanAllah.
That's the ayah also, by the way, that when I was leaving Tartil, like I was kind of seeking reassurance, because like it's a big move, right? And I was like, I'm annoying about my decision. And then I remember this exact ayah as well, but it was a different part of the ayah. It was the line just before which said, once you make a decision, put your trust in Allah.
SubhanAllah, man.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How do we make a decision about, okay, if you made the decision, put your trust in Allah now.
Alhamdulillah for Islam.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Imagine, ma'adallah, like, what would we do? I don't understand how people live without Islam, honestly. It's like, how do you go about your daily life without being a Muslim? It really perplexes me. Alhamdulillah, man.
You would lose hope, right?
What's that?
You'd lose hope. So often.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know what I'd do. I honestly don't know what I'd do. Because, yeah, it's a very weird, alhamdulillah, we've been guided. May Allah keep us guided and plant our feet firmly in the deen. But when you see the other side of the fence from this side of the fence, you just think, if I was ever put there, I just don't know what I would do. Yeah. Like, what would be the point?
May Allah protect us.
Yeah, man. I mean, so alhamdulillah for Islam, alhamdulillah for guidance. May Allah guide us.
Yeah, may Allah guide us. May Allah make us knowledgeable.
I mean,
with knowledge that benefits us.
I mean,
on that point, go on. I saw a video today on Instagram where somebody said something like, I think it was like I think a sheikh stitched a video or something. I can't remember like who it was or whatever, but it said, "Revenge is a dish best served cold."
Okay, it took a turn.
Yeah. Okay. Or it was some. What are the common quotes about revenge? Revenge is about.
All right, hold on. Yeah. This is my time to shine.
Yeah. There's revenge is a dish best served cold, and then there's success is best form of revenge, or something. I think it was revenge is a dish best served cold.
Yeah, that's a common one.
With like the idea being that, with the idea of that being what?
What does that even mean? Yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't think it was that quote. It was something else like.
That is a quote though. That is a quote.
Yeah. Should I ask ChatGPT?
Actually, what is that? What's the origins of that? Because it's like served cold. Why would you serve your revenge warm?
Yeah. That's
Are you microwaving your revenge before serving it?
Okay. So first of all, let's ask, what does, what's the origin of?
Do you ever use ChatGPT voice function?
No, I don't like it.
Really, I do.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. Actually, I used it to improve my Arabic. I said, I need to improve my Arabic, have a more Arabic conversation. So just speak back and forth with me in Arabic. That was okay. Okay. The phrase "revenge is a dish best served cold" has a debated origin, but is widely believed to have been originated in French literature. Kaya. One of the earliest known references from the 18th century novel, and it's written in French.
I'll read.
The exact phrase. Okay, but what does it mean?
Yeah, what does he mean by serving it cold? That's trying to get to the point.
Serving it cold. I done a mistake by asking you the origin.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the phrase "revenge is a dish best served cold" means that revenge is most effective when it is taken after time has passed. I didn't know that.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
Rather than immediately in the heat of the moment.
Interesting.
By served cold, it suggests that revenge should be calculated, deliberate, and emotionless, rather than impulsive and driven by anger.
That's
sick.
That's
Ridiculous.
sick and
sick in the head, and I love it. Okay, it wasn't that quote though. What are other famous quotes? What are those things called? Not quotes.
Idioms.
Idioms. That's it. What's some other famous idioms about revenge? Because I need to get the right one to make my point clear here. It's actually a serious point at the end of it. Okay. Here's some favorite. An eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. He who seeks revenge must dig two graves. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Living well is best revenge. What goes around comes around. Revenge is sweet. Oh yeah, I don't know which one of these it was. But you get the point, right? Which is that the quote that was about getting revenge.
Yeah.
That was the point, right? And the sheikh, this is the serious part now. The sheikh said that this is not from the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ would not fight evil with evil. And obviously, we had Hamza Zotis on the podcast numerous times previously, and his favorite ayah of the Quran he's mentioned being the ayah that mentions that repel evil with that which is better. And it goes on to explain that that's how like love is formed between two people, and like when you do that. And the sheikh was just making an incredible point, which I thought was so valuable. It's like, yeah, like sometimes like something bad happens to you, and it's so easy to go, oh, let me do that back. Or this person didn't do that, so I'm not going to do that. But actually, Islam tells us to repel evil with that which is better, and that will form love. And sometimes, bro, it's as simple as you've I don't know, gone to somebody's house, or no, sorry, like I don't. This isn't really a thing that's like happens in my in my like life. But I do know, like from a cultural perspective, there could be a situation where like you've had a guest come to your house, and in some cultures, like if the guest comes empty-handed, it's a big problem.
Yeah.
And you might even see like the auntie, like, oh, you know, they came to our house without without with empty hands. When we go to their house now, we're not going to take anything. But actually, it's like, no, repel evil with that which is better. Not to say that that's evil, but say like, if you do something even better, if you go with, you should actually go with more gifts now and be super nice, and that will increase love. Like, don't be like, oh, because they did this, I'm going to do this. And that's like a very small version of it.
Yeah. And it links to, I just coincidentally brought up what my favorite ayah is, I think. It changes, but it's linked to this. And it's the context of it was the incident with Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, where there was a rumor being spread. Right? Yep. And inshallah I get this correct. One of Abu Bakr's, may Allah be pleased with him, his cousin was one of the Sahaba who fell into that mistake of spreading that.
Okay.
Abu Bakr was actually already giving that cousin charity regularly, supporting him financially when that incident happened. And then because he came to know that that cousin had done that, he said he would not give him charity anymore. He'd stop his. And then the Sheikh I was to explain this said, he paused at this point. He said, at this moment, you cannot say that Abu Bakr was doing something unthinkable, or anything like that. He was within his rights, quote unquote.
Yeah.
His daughter had been, slandered, had a rumor spread about her by someone who was giving charity to regularly and supporting, right?
Fair.
So it's fair. The word was like fair. That's fair. I think most of us would do that and say, that's fair. But then revelation come down about that specific incident. And I think part of what makes me love this ayah is that it was about Abu Bakr in that sense, and we can put ourselves in his shoes, And I'll read the ayah in English, the English translation of it. And let not those of virtue among you, pause. Abu Bakr is being praised here in the Quran. Let not those of virtue among you and wealth swear not to give aid to their relatives and the needy and the emigrants for the cause of Allah, and let them pardon and overlook. Would you not like that Allah should forgive you? And Allah is forgiving and merciful.
That's incredible, isn't it?
That is incredible.
Yeah. It's like, but even that bit about like Allah, like if you want Allah's mercy, be merciful to the people, man.
And again, this is like a case of like, you've got every right not to forgive here.
Of course.
Because it's easy to say, again, what you just said there is kind of tit for tat. Yeah. That one's quite easy to forgive. This is about an incident where I've got every right to just say, you know what? No, I'm not giving you any money. I'm not going to cut you off, family. But I'm not going to give you any money anymore. That's extra stuff I have to do.
Yeah.
And then this revelation comes down about that. And let them pardon and overlook. Would you not like that Allah should forgive you?
Yeah,
subhanallah. And it's like, we can gain Allah's forgiveness, inshallah, by forgiving other people.
Oh yeah, that's incredible.
It gives me inspiration. I almost now look forward to being in that position where I've got the right now
to forgive someone.
Right. You've done something quite bad to me.
Yeah.
I didn't deserve it. In fact, I was being nice to you. You've done something. It wasn't tit for tat. In other words, it wasn't. I didn't bring a gift. You didn't bring a gift. It wasn't that. I was doing something nice for you, and then you spat in my face.
Yeah.
Like this incident, similar to that. Because look how that specific incident is like mentioned in the Quran.
Yeah.
And it's like and Allah says like, would you not love that Allah should forgive you? What else do we want? So when someone wronged you like that, they have actually transgressed your rights, they've trampled on your rights, and you've got the right to take your revenge maybe, or hold that to Yawm al-Qiyamah and say, no, I'm going to get my good deeds from it. You've got the right. But then we're encouraged to forgive at that point, because would you not love that Allah should forgive you?
Yes.
What a golden opportunity when that stuff happens.
Oh, like there's those opportunities like that. Even ones of like, when you look at patience, like being in a situation where you have the opportunity to be patient in the moment when when it's almost justified to not be patient, or it's like any other person wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But it's like in that moment, if you are patient, first of all, that's true. That's what true patience is. But then secondly, think about the reward you would get when you're patient in a moment where it's not justified, but like expected in the norms to be impatient in that
or at the first stroke of calamity, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we're meant to be. We're supposed to say, Inna Allahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. It's supposed to be the first strike of calamity, not like go crazy and then later say it. So yeah.
Yeah, bro. Well, that was a nice, if reflective and informative episode. We started with talking for the first half of the podcast about what? There's like nothing
about cameras.
Cameras and tech and AI. And then we went into someone with answers. That was nice. And now it's going to be last tonight. So guys, we're probably not going to be around much last tonight. I'm going to try and do a live stream. So we'll keep you in the loop for that. Probably about Sahur time, UK time. And most likely going to be next Thursday, probably, I'm thinking. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. Thanks, guys, for joining us this Ramadan for these Ramadan episodes. It's been incredible. It's been lovely to have you, Kaya. And without further ado, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.